I think most people in the tango community now probably know me as DJ Alex. Um,
But I heard DJ Boom Boom.
oh Christ, yeah, I don't even want to go there. This is a name that I think DJ Stefan gave me, and Mona. Most people know who Mona is. She's been running with it this whole festival. I'm not a big fan of it. I think
Where does it come from?
it's more suited for Boom Boom Becker, the tennis player.
But does it relate to your cortinas or to your
I presume
music?
it relates to partly my music and partly my cortinas, because I'm generally regarded as slightly more of a higher energy, higher impact, more engaging DJ than others, I guess. But I like to explore other music, both Argentine, tango, waltzes and milongas, but also other music that is suitable to be played for dancers. I don't want to limit myself. I don't believe in calling myself purely a golden age or traditional. I don't buy into that. I like to be open-minded, and if it's good, it's good, no matter what it is. Unfortunately, you play one unusual tanda, one alternative tanda, and people see you as an alternative or nuevo DJ. That's the way it goes. But hey, fine. So be it. I can do a traditional set from start to finish if I want to, very easily. But I like to introduce something that's unusual as well whenever I DJ.
How long have you been DJing?
Over 3 years now. Over 3 years, which is probably not a very long time. Dancing for over 5 years. Listening to tango music for a long time. My mother's a musician. She's a piano player, and I was exposed to a lot of music as I was a child, especially piano. I became a drummer later when I was in high school. Although I tried violin, piano, I didn't have the patience for it. But I enjoyed the drums, which is one of the reasons why I like a lot of rhythmic style music. And once I got exposed to tango music, I just fell in love with it and started collecting, I guess. And then I started dancing, and very quickly a lot of the music became repetitive when I was dancing to, and I knew a lot of music existed that wasn't played. Yeah, traditional, mostly traditional. And it was just a lot of the time very predictable. Predictability is good, but not all the time. Sometimes you want a few surprises, good surprises, and you want to be engaged. And it's nice to have refreshing music every now and then. And it can be something from 1928 or 1930. It doesn't have to be modern to be refreshing. I like modern stuff as well, but you have to be very careful because it has to be played at the appropriate time. It matters what you played before and after and how you build up to it. And most importantly, it has to be danceable. And sure, you can compare modern music to the earlier, big orchestras. I don't think it's really fair to do that. I think there is a place for modern tango, but you have to be very careful and selective. For any DJs that are starting out, I would recommend sticking to the traditional stuff first, being very comfortable with it, and then slowly thinking about the other music that you can pebble in. And it's not something that I would do, for big chunks in the Milonga. It would be little bits and pieces here and there. Yeah.
What's your favorite orchestra?
Darienzo. Has to be Darienzo. Just the abundance of danceable music, the variety, Um, he's got a lot of rhythmic stuff, obviously, but there's a lot of slower romantic stuff as well. Um, he's got some of the best singers tango could offer, and really, you could easily throw in 3, 4, 5 tenders if you wanted to, in terms of milongas, waltzes, and tangos within a 4-hour set, and it's usually what I do. I tend to play at least two tenders, if not 3 tenders of Darienzo. I think people like to hear at least one Darienzo every hour, generally. But that's me, I'm not saying that all DJs should do that, but I'm just saying it is a very popular orchestra, and it definitely puts a smile on people's faces. I DJ a lot during the night, back in Sydney for Pablitos, and I DJ at Pedro's Milongas for the month of Milongas, but there's not many daytime festivals, and there's not many daytime Milongas. So when there is an opportunity to do the day, I choose that. And the reason why I like the day is because I get more opportunities to introduce other music. Whereas at night you have to be a bit more careful. You can't push it too much. Maybe you'd be lucky if you could play one.
People are more serious.
They're more serious and more judgmental. As I'm sure you appreciate, everybody's got an opinion. Everyone thinks they're an expert, and unless you really actually sit there in the driver's seat DJing, it's easy to have an opinion. Some people think it's easy what we do. Doing anything mediocre is easy, but doing it well takes a lot of work and focus.
How do you read the energy of the room, the floor?
First of all, I look at the level of the majority of the dancers, and whether I think they can handle speed, whether I think they're more interested in earlier stuff or more golden age. Are they a traditional crowd, or do they look to be more open-minded? I mean, as you go to these festivals, you get to know a lot of these people, and you know what they like and what they don't like. I like to think of myself as somebody who can recognize when things are going flat.
Yeah.
And when I do sense people just going through the motions and not being too into it, that's where I tend to spike it. And usually I spike it with something that's rhythmic. And Darienzo is always a go-to for that.
Although
B.A.S.H as well. B.A.S.H is popular. Tenturi is always good as well.
You've been known for a bit of drama.
Absolutely. Look, I'm not DJing to make friends, and I'm not dancing tango to make friends. I do it because I enjoy it. I do have my own beliefs. I do have an opinion on it. But at the same time, I can see what the majority of people like, which is one of the reasons why I get invited back to DJ again and again. And unfortunately, you're not going to satisfy everybody. Everybody's got different ears, different sensitivities. And you do play for a lot of older people, and some people maybe can't hear as well. So you have to take that into account. And sure, yeah, some people have very sensitive ears, but there is an easy solution. I'm not saying it's an ideal solution, but you can
Up the volume. Well, there goes your boom boom.
Look, I do what I can. I don't like it when it's too loud, but what is loud for me might be too loud for somebody else. And the other thing is, every song, every track is very different. It's very difficult to maintain consistency in the sound of the music. And I know a lot of DJs do different things, you know, they put limiters on, etc. But the problem with that is, I don't have such a problem with when things are actually loud. I have a problem with the notes that can't be heard. So you've got to you've got to do what it takes. And I see the majority of the dancers happy. And sure, you know, people are going to complain, but they're going to complain anyway. They're going to complain about the music. They're going to complain about the heat. They're going to complain about lots of things. And yeah, probably have to have a thick skin if you want to be a DJ. Because you know, people will complain about selection. They'll complain about sound. They'll complain just because they don't feel very good. They'll complain because they're not getting enough dancers. That's life. Welcome to Tango. I think Cabeceo in general is important. I think we should apply it as much as we can, but at the same time we have to calibrate depending on where we're dancing, the size of the Milonga, how many people are there, the level of the dancers. You know, there's some very good leaders that just know that almost any follower will want to dance with them. So they quite comfortably go and they just grab their hand and take it. I'm still, you know, but I'm sure they still use Cabeceo, but for a leader like that, it might be more okay than for a leader who's, say, not so good, and there's a lot of other good leaders. If he goes up and asks the follower to dance, she might be trying to get somebody else, and it's not ideal. So I think the answer is it depends. It depends who you are as a leader, how good you are as a leader. I think same as a follower. Also, you have to take into account the dynamic, the dynamic in the country, in the city, and in the specific Milonga. A small Milonga could be very different to a festival. You know?
Do you feel the experience of the dance is different if you use a Cabeceo or not?
I think it makes it more exciting because it's nice to earn the dance. Going up and asking for the dance is, you know, you're putting social pressure on the other person. If she wants to dance with you, she'll probably look out for you. If she's not looking out for you, then maybe you have to position yourself better logistically, or you have to work harder on your dancing skills. Or maybe they're just not interested for other reasons, and those reasons could be many. You might be too tall, too short. Hygiene's a big one, and most people, unfortunately, are not aware of their hygiene in tango. You get very close to people, you know, you're essentially hugging them on the floor. Some people are more sensitive to it than others, and some very good dancers may not even be getting the dances they want because of hygiene. So it's important really to, you know, shower, use deodorant, watch your breath, you know, always use mints, gum, even if you think your breath is fine, and control the sweat. You know, people sweat, and if you sweat profusely, then do something about it. You know, use towels, change your shirts. How was it for me today in Port Macquarie? I think it went pretty well actually. The feedback seemed to be very good, not just from the dancers but from fellow DJs. And I appreciate, you know, a lot of the time people they feel it's a courtesy to thank you for the music. I take it on board. All the compliments I get, I take with a grain of salt. And I really appreciated the feedback that you gave me actually about the start of the night, how it was a little bit slow. I kept it a little bit slow because I didn't want to burn people out. But at the same time, yeah, you've got to mix it up. And you've got to mix it up at the start of the night. You've got to mix it up throughout the night. It can't be too much high energy. It can't be too much low energy. And it's not easy. It's not easy getting it perfect. And it's not easy getting it right on many levels, be it the sound, be it selection, be it with the cortinas. You know, there's a lot of elements to it. Um, it's a journey for sure. I really enjoyed it. I love doing the day set because it means I can introduce some variety in the music. Um, and you mentioned I was a little bit safer than I usually am compared to other festivals that I've DJed, like at B.A.S.H, for instance, where I really pushed it hard. I played a lot of modern stuff. And I just get a feeling, you know, I look at the crowd and I know they expect it from me. Um, if I played a fully traditional set and didn't put in anything unusual, some people would probably be a little bit disappointed. I mean, it can be a solid set, it can be good, but people have certain expectations of certain DJs, and I think I've created a certain expectation for myself where people want to hear those special tangos. And it's good. Puts pressure on me because I have to make sure that I deliver. And hopefully I did today.
How you said you push it harder at B.A.S.H. How do you see the difference between those two?
In B.A.S.H, in Bandanoon, because of the history there was. It's known for having a lot more alternative or even nuevo music, especially in that last set during the day. And I think it's important to keep that tradition to a certain extent because there's an expectation on the dancers. And it's an opportunity because I think there's a lot of really good music that deserves to be played and shared, and which you just can't do if you're always playing golden age traditional. And I see myself as a golden age traditional, but I'm not rigid and I'm not super tight on it. And if it means that I play an unusual or modern tanda or alternative tanda every now and then, you know, if that makes me an alternative DJ, then so be it.
Have you seen changes in tango since you started as a dancer or as a DJ?
I think what's changed a lot more recently, especially in the Sydney scene, which is where I come from, there's been more of an appetite by organisers to use other DJs, which I think is fantastic. There hasn't been really much of a market for DJs in Sydney. Whereas in Melbourne, what I saw, that a lot of the organisers did use some really good DJs to DJ their monthly or weekly Milongas. And I think it's very important. It's very important from the point of view of variety. It also takes the pressure off the organiser because in Sydney, a lot of the organisers DJ'd their own Milonga. And it's important to have good Milongas. And it's also important to have good schools where they're not only taught correct tango or good technique, but it's also a very fun environment to be in. And one of the ways to make it more fun is by encouraging the students to get on the floor as soon as possible. Sophia from Sydney, she runs a beginners Milonga, which I think is great. And it's been very successful at getting a lot of newbies in and dancing. And once they're comfortable with that, they can move to the other one.
What makes it a beginner's Milonga?
Everybody is welcome. Sophia essentially invites anyone who's not a beginner to come and dance with the beginners, and all the beginners from the whole community are invited. And it's a good way to get people up to speed quicker. Otherwise, if they just go to classes, once or twice a week, it's not really enough. It's going to be a very slow progression, and this is one of the reasons why people are they're not seeing a return on investment. The tango is difficult, and the way to get good is by getting the time on the floor. You've got to be making those mistakes. Sure, you can build up some bad habits, but you're probably going to do that anyway. You iron them out as you go.
Thanks, man.